I want to take a minute with you guys and talk about a pretty important milestone that the show has just reached. And some of you have probably noticed that we are now at over 100,000 subscribers, which is pretty mind-blowing to me in a lot of ways, because when I started this, I never thought I would have 100 subscribers, let alone what we have today. And it means a lot to me. It's pretty amazing. And I saw that we were getting close to that number earlier this week, and I started thinking about it. And for me personally, a lot of times I don't like to get stuck with numbers because sometimes they just seem like numbers, and also I don't want something to seem artificially high and then all of a sudden, you know, I'm not moving forward, because I have a lot of stuff that I want to do with this show that I haven't been able to roll out yet. That, you know, I mean, we've made good strides in the last year, but from a personal standpoint, that's how I look at things. And I was thinking about this a little bit this week, and I realized that this is a little bit ridiculous because that number is not about me at all. It's not, hadn't done anything to do with me. It has everything to do with you and people who watch and support this show. And when I started thinking about that, I kind of recalled a lot of the early days of the show when we started with 0. And I wanted to share just a little turning point with me and when we started this, because of what that number means to me, because of what the show means to me. And it has everything to do with the people who watch it. Obviously, the show wouldn't exist if people didn't watch it. That's kind of obvious, but you know, when I started out, YouTube was fairly new and they had a 10-minute upload limit, and so I could only upload videos that were so long, and I wasn't crazy about that. So I started out on iTunes exclusively, and we had everything for download in the iTunes store as a podcast, and that's how we got going. And I had this way of tracking some statistics of my downloads at that point, and every now and then, you know, you get a Twitter account and you get a couple people who follow you, and then you have little conversations here and there, and that's kind of cool too. And then all of a sudden you realize that you're getting hits on your website and you're developing some traction. And I guess for some reason, you know, we're so inundated and have been for a long time with everything related to the internet. You know, view counts, you know, all the analytics that go into things, subscribers, likes, dislikes, you know, there's all these kind of number segments that end up just looking like data after a while. And I know that early on, you know, I just started the show because I needed to learn how to do video, and I picked the subject that I was the most passionate about, and it has turned into this thing. But when I started, it was nothing. And all of a sudden, one day, I kind of realized that I had all these hits coming from England, and I had a trip scheduled for England. I was going over there on work. I was invited to come speak at Tate Modern with the museum I was working for at the time. And I thought, would it be cool if we just did a meetup and let's see if anybody shows up? Because, you know, I have no idea who these people are. They're just blips on a map and numbers on a counter. And I remember very specifically that morning walking around behind Tate Modern. I scheduled it the worst time possible. I did like 10 a.m. on a Friday morning. You know, people are at work. Nobody wants to come into London for this. And I remember coming around the corner and I was thinking, what if nobody's here? Well, then I'll just keep walking and it'll look real smooth and I'll do something else. And I thought, well, what if it's like one person here? What if that's weird? And I didn't know what to expect. I came around the corner and there were about 13, 14 people that had showed up to that. And it was the biggest kind of Zen moment for me ever in doing the show, because all of a sudden I realized there are 14 people that are here to talk about photography because we're all passionate about it. They've seen my show and they want to have these conversations. And we spent the whole day together. I'm still friends with a lot of those people to this day. We've done a lot of meetups since, and every time I do one of those, they're very special to me because all of a sudden it's not numbers, it's real human beings. And I think that is so important. And it's one of the things that we lose sight of in the modern age of social media and YouTube and iTunes and everything else, where we look at just numbers of video counts all the time. And that's what I realized. I didn't want to lose sight of that, and that's why I wanted to do a video today, just to say thank you. Many of you I've met you at meetups. Some people I just know online through the internet. Some of you have gotten involved. Some of you have volunteered your time to things that we've done. Some of you have actually donated money so we can keep this show running. And I say we all the time, and I've said this before. I have friends that make fun of me because they're like, who's we? You know, because it's just me and a camera. I'm the only one producing these here and doing all the writing and editing and everything else. I don't have a research assistant. I don't have any of that. And it's interesting because when I tell them, we does not mean me, it means me and the audience. And I really feel like this is a community that we do together on this. And it's been an amazing few years. I'm really excited about possibilities for the future. And I want to take a minute and congratulate you guys on this milestone, because that's where it really is special. You know, I've gotten to know people pretty well who have watched the show, and you know, some amazing friendships that have been made. I've learned some amazing things. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't have a research assistant or an editor, and I've put mistakes into the show before, and you guys are the first to tell me, and it's actually made me try to strive to provide a better show over the years. In fact, I watched some of those earlier episodes, and they're just ridiculously funny sometimes, and they're just bad. And anyway, so it's really special, and that's what makes it special to me. I've had friends that I've made that have passed away and gone on to the next life. And you know, what the audience means to me is like the greatest of the highs and the lowest of the lows sometimes. But last year I quit my job to do this full time, and that's why, because of those relationships and those people. It's people that want to come together and participate in, and this is going to sound corny, but this communal idea of photography, of the celebration of making images, and also the celebration of all the wonderful images that have been made before us, and really being interested and passionate about that. And I appreciate you guys coming along this journey with me. I know that some of you have been watching the show since the very beginning, and I really am flattered by that, because it's a lot of shows. We've done, like, I don't know what the number is, but it's like 350 episodes so far, which is pretty wild. And then some people are newer, and I love that too. And what I want to do in the future with this show, if anything else, is try to do more on the meetup side with that community aspect of it, because that's what it means to me. I mean, this show is a huge part of my life now. In fact, my life revolves around doing this show, because it's what I do for a living, and I work way more hours now than I used to work when I had my museum job, but every minute is worth it. And so I want to thank you and let you guys know how special you are to me. Anyway, I'm sorry this is a cheesy, gushy episode, but that's really what it is about. And we have some amazing things coming up, and I never thought I'd do any of these things. We've got a photography magazine that we're going to start producing. There are some interviews that I've got lined up that hopefully I'll get confirmed and I can announce pretty soon. There's some more travel coming up, so hopefully we can do meetups, and I'm really appreciative of all of that. So anyway, if you guys have liked this episode, as always, remember to subscribe and add to that 100,000 subscribers so we can move on in the future. And remember to like this video and share it with your friends. And as always, this has been another episode of The Art of Photography. Sorry, I'm kind of like weird about this. I didn't think I would be, and I just turned on the camera, thought I'd roll it, and here we are. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. It's been an awesome couple years and an awesome 100,000 subscribers, and I hope we can do much more in the future. Anyway, until the next video, I'll see you then. Later.